morning, and welcome to another segment of Capital Preview. I'm Bill Peard, your host. Our guest this morning is Representative Linda Upmeyer, Senate Majority Leader from Clear Lake, Iowa. Representative, glad.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
It's great to be here. Now I need to clarify one thing. I'm the House Majority Leader. Senator Gronstall would be very upset.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
very
all right.
Good. Yeah. House Majority Leader, right?
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yep. We don't want to upset Mr. Gronstall.
No.
Well, thank you, Representative, for coming in here this morning. And I just want us to have you tell us a little bit about some of the bills that have survived the legislative funnel. We all know the legislative funnel, or maybe some don't know, was last Thursday. So kind of, if you'd want to go through those a little bit, I'd appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, you know, the funnel week is always sort of the grand winnowing of the bills, where we bring forward the bills that are priorities of Iowans, and I think that we have a really nice mix. It is the priorities of our members and of their constituents who they've been talking to all through the interim, and so they come back with a lot of ideas. This is sort of what we have that made it through committee. There's some really good bills out there, I think. We have a bill that came out of the Education Committee that protects the privacy of student data. Information at the Department of Ed and the schools collect, and we need to protect that data, make sure there's privacy.
Sure.
Another bill that I think will be interesting to folks is a bill that came out of Judiciary that protects our Second Amendment rights. A very comprehensive bill, and I think that's going to be interesting to debate. We have a bill out of the Public Safety Committee that deals with synthetic drugs that we're seeing crop up here in Iowa and around the country. And finally, we have a bill out of Labor that allows arbitrators more flexibility as they go into negotiations for school compensation contracts.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about this, because I kind of think this is interesting to talk to our people at home about. Is that we went through one funnel, the next funnel's in a month from now.
Yes.
So what happens to the legislation? Does it just keep winnowing down then for the next funnel then?
It does. We will debate many of the bills that came out of committee in this upcoming week and coming weeks, actually. But there will also be bills that came out of committee that have some problems. So they may need amendments. They may need more work as we take a closer look, and other people start vetting those bills. So it just keeps getting smaller and smaller. And then, of course, the ones that we just don't have time to do, we always try and prioritize to get the ones through that people want very much, and we'll keep them moving.
When you talk about the budget, when the budget numbers come in, will those bills stop kind of being debated and worked with, or will you concentrate on the budget, or can you do both of them at the same time?
We can certainly do both. Obviously, we need to do both, and we'll continue the policy debates, but we'll allow plenty of subcommittee time for the budget, and then the full appropriations committee. As soon as we hear the March revenue estimating conference projections upcoming, then we'll know if we're spot on for our targets.
Sure.
Because if that number goes down at all, we'll have to lower our targets. So we don't want to release them until we know, and that will be March 19th.
Right. I'm glad it's you, because it's quite a balancing act. You're serving on the conference committee dealing with setting supplemental state aid. Why is the House set on 1.25% for the schools?
Well, we wanted to take care of this as soon as we got into session. We wanted to make sure we had a number out to the schools as early as possible.
Sure.
So in fact, we did do the 1.25%. It was the first bill out of the House this year.
Sure.
The 1.25 represents $47.7 million in new funding in supplemental state aid. Additionally, there's another about $50 million in the teacher compensation, the new leadership program. So collectively, that's $100 million that we're going to put into education this year. Now, recall that the Revenue Estimating Conference told us we'd have about $200 million of new revenue for our entire budget this year. So half of it immediately went to K-12 schools, and we're pleased with that investment. It's a priority. We want to do that. We think that's the right number. We need to get it down to the governor. The Democrats have given us a higher number, but they admit that they don't know how they're going to fund it. So we're pretty concerned. 1.25 is a very responsible number, and that's what we'd like to do.
your budget process is going to be tough.
It will be. It will.
Speaking of the budget, give us a preview of how the budget, we just kind of work into that, how it's lining up right now.
Well, it is going to be a tougher budget year. You're correct. We know that the economy is slowing down a little bit, but still we believe there's plenty of money to do what we need to do and maintain a responsible budget. One of the things we did when we took the majority and started doing the budgets 4 years ago was make sure that we had some principles that guided us, and those principles have held us in a very good position with the budget so far. We're not going to use one-time money for ongoing expenditures. We're not going to spend more than we take in. We don't intentionally underfund the promises we made to Iowans, and we make sure that if we have overpayment of taxes, it's returned to the taxpayer. So that's put us in a position where we haven't had to do cuts. We're able to make increases in our priorities where we need to, and so we think that's a good policy, and we're going to continue it.
Sounds very sound to me. What other bills do the Republicans hope to get passed before the session ends?
You know, I'm really hopeful that we can get a personal income tax bill out of committee and take a look at that. We've talked about that for a long time. We believe that Iowans could use a simplified mechanism to do their taxes and certainly keep a little bit more of it in their pocket. So we'd like to make sure we get that out of Ways and Means. I know Representative Sands is working hard with his committee to bring us a proposal, and I look forward to dealing with that. Another proposal that I'm very interested in is sort of a rebalancing of the state and the federal government relationship. Many people feel like the federal government's kind of broken, and we know that a one-size-fits-all approach hasn't served us as well as we'd hoped. So we have an opportunity right now, I think, to utilize the wonderful laboratory that the states present and the innovative ideas that have come out of many states to find different paths. So we're looking at opportunity to rebalance, and we really have to get this done because I don't think the federal government will fix this problem.
Right. No, I think that sounds, and rather than sitting there keep saying there's a problem, solutions.
That's right.
Figure out ways to fix.
And states can do that. States and local government, closer to the people, we interact, and we're committed to finding Iowa solutions for Iowa's issues.
Yep. I tell people, because I'm down there quite a bit, and I tell people that our state government still works. Both parties work together for all Iowans. So they can't just kind of loop it into one thing that the federal government is broke and therefore the state government's broke. It's not true. I think you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
We saw a lot of presidential candidates in the state because of the Ag Summit last weekend. How do you feel that the field is shaping up, and who are you looking for to kind of take a lead?
Oh, I tell you, this is an exciting time and a really exciting field of candidates. There are so many Republican candidates, especially coming into the state now, and it's fun to see people from the private sector, the public sector, people that were governors, our governors, really stepping out there. They're listening to Iowans. They're talking about what they've learned, their proposals. They're getting feedback on that. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful process. One thing I know is the Republicans are not interested in any coronation. We clearly are going to be vetting those candidates. And they're really interested, it appears to me, in coming to the state and interacting with Iowans. So I just think it's a wonderful process. And I personally am going to be looking for a candidate with great leadership, certainly, but one that is interested in that rebalancing between the state and the federal government.
Yeah, I think that Ag Summit, from what I've read and from what I've heard, has been a huge success. It gave people a chance, whether they attended that or not, to see how people feel about how the candidates feel about our agricultural economy and where they're going to go from here. So
I think you're right. And ag is such an important thing in this state that I think it was wonderful to really focus their attention on the ag issues and talking about energy and wind and renewables and all the kinds of things that Iowans are perhaps rather uniquely in tune with that perhaps other states don't think about as often. But it's wonderful to have them answer those questions right here and to just get to know them a little bit. Iowans are so used to being able to sort of touch and look candidates right in the eye.
Yeah.
We've all met presidents, and so it's really a wonderful opportunity for Iowans.
Right. Well, and I like politics,
Yes.
and I tell my relatives that live in Nebraska, I said they're lucky if they see a presidential candidate once every 3 or 4 years. I said, I go to a grocery store and I can be shopping with these presidential candidates. So I think it's a great thing that Iowa can attract those kind of people, and you get to know them like like we know you.
Yes.
So, Republican Majority Leader for the House Republicans. Is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers? Anything else going on at the legislature this week, or you think is coming up? Or
Well, this week, I think we've got some interesting bills we're going to talk about. We're going to debate zero-based budgeting, talk about that. It's an opportunity for every department to take a very thorough look at what they're doing and really think about where their priorities are as well.
Sure.
So it's a good opportunity, good exercise to go through, and so we're going to debate that bill. We're also going to debate that Second Amendment bill that's a more comprehensive bill than we've seen for a little while. So I'm pretty excited about the possibilities. And this is always kind of the fun time. We've done a lot of committee work.
Right.
And so members are eager to get on the floor and be able to talk about some of these topics. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think the members are. We've got wonderful new legislators that are, I think, just itching to have some discussion on the floor. And this is the time we're going to do that. I encourage people, if they have the time, to get online and watch some of that debate. It's a wonderful opportunity to see government in action.
yeah, it's a great website. I think. Do you want to give the viewers the website address? I think it's the Iowa General Assembly.
Yes.
They can go www.iowageneralassembly.com, and they can. It's a very interactive website.
Yes, and if you can't remember the website, just Google the General Assembly, and you've got all kinds of different tools.
Right.
Actually, you can look up bills. You can watch,
Right.
connect to the website or the web cam during debate. All kinds of tools that keep you in touch with your government.
Yeah, very good. I very much appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank
Representative
you.
Linda Upmeyer, Republican Majority Leader. And stay tuned. Our next segment will be with former State Senator Jeff Angelo, and we'll be talking about legislative issues in that segment. Thank you very much.